Do I want to do this? January 15th, 2021. Yesterday, did all my usual routines and practices, so solid day. After some urgency impressed upon WordPress development team, this morning finally got the Google Ads conversion tracking to work. Wrote the press release for LaundroLab. I think it's sufficient as is. It may not be 100% perfect, but it's solid enough and has enough brand personality and voice coming through, even though it'll be written like it's from the actual news outlet. Of course, that's my opinion, so only time will tell how it's received. Finally, also officially started my search for a mentor. Created a good list of candidates that I'll draft messages for and send via LinkedIn mainly. I don't know if I have one that I'm like, oh yeah, they're the ideal mentor. But I think I'll just let the universe take its course and choose the best one for me, since there are a dozen folks I could see being very valuable. From the subtle art of not giving a F, he tells us to ask ourselves, do we want to do it? I agree with that, but there can be a modification to it to get the most out of my potential. I should be asking myself, does my current self want to do it? Does my future self want to do it? If the answer to both of those is yes, then there is alignment in my wants and needs, both short-term and long-term. If it's only yes to one of those, then my job is to get them both to say yes as the answer. How though? If it's current self no and future self yes, then I already have some sort of idea that my future self will appreciate and be happy that I did whatever I wanted to do. I must get my current self to say, yes, I want to do this. How? Goes back to his action, to inspiration, to motivation principle. I just need to agree to do one small thing that day that is aligned with what my future self wants. One small task, one small habit. That's it. That action can fuel the inspiration, which in turn increases the motivation, and so on. Now, what if my current self says yes and future self says no? That's a matter of distinguishing momentary joy from longer lasting happiness. I must really engrave in my mind how it feels, not immediately after I do what I want, but as my future self. Creating that emotion and attaching it to how I felt like crap after my ephemeral desires makes me more likely to remember the next time I have the same or similar want. Then it's a matter of finding out what my long-term wants are, then aligning my short-term actions accordingly. I can start initially as, I need to do this, but over time it should evolve to, I want to do this, my current self and my future self.